Hello everyone, this is Shooter Fantasy, and this is the third episode of Quality Assurance. So basic premise is I'm a game developer. I'm going to go along and play this, give critique, and yeah, it's basically it. So let's go to the credits and just show off the people who made this. So SONICGDX, creating code by XAKLSC, and you got all these contributions by all these people. And what does wait, oh, okay. Info brings us to this page. But yeah, let's go ahead and play. We're going to be running this on extreme settings. So we've got two stages. We've got the credit stage, and we've got Green Hill Paradise. So 2 level stages, and then it looks like this is supposed to be a character selection. We've only got Sonic, it looks like, but that's fine, because Sonic's the main focus, but anything else is a plus. Okay, so we're getting about 49 frames per second, 48 frames per second. So we're not getting a solid 60. Depending on what I end up doing in post, I'm probably going to be rendering out the video in 60 frames per second, but right now we are most definitely running at we're running under 60 frames per second right now. But all my other, if I end up rendering this out, it'll be at 60, because all my assets are in 60.
To control the camera.
Oh no, we don't got Amachow? This is blasphemy. We need our annoying little Amachow, or Amchow, or I don't know. Okay.
Press the A button to jump. While jumping, press the button again to perform a homing attack.
Honestly, the voiceover we got is sufficient enough.
Press the B button to perform a spin attack. Press the button again to uncurl and continue running. Knowing when to roll and when to run is compulsory to maintaining your speed.
What's that do? Oh, we can warp between areas. Cool. So what we've got here is kind of like a free roaming kind of thing. You can literally just... What's that? Oh, well. Yeah, so far this feels pretty dang good.
While standing still, press the B button to crouch. While crouching, press and hold the A button to charge the spin dash. Release both buttons to launch forward.
I feel like Sonic Team could actually take a few notes from this. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, okay. So we lost some momentum there, I think is what's happening. Because this is technically a slant. Yeah, this feels really good. And this was made in what? 2 years ago? 2016? If Sonic Team made a Sonic game that kind of took this concept, maybe give you an open world, make it give you an open area like this, but give you some objectives to do. So I know current Sonic games, Sonic Generations is probably my favorite Sonic game. My first Sonic game I ever actually played was Sonic Heroes. It wasn't until I was... Oh, we can't get up. Okay, so there's a little bit of screwery that has to go on to kind of escape that small section, but so far this feels really good. What was I saying? Actually, I'll wait for this to finish first.
However, should you lose your momentum, you will return to normal.
But yeah, my first Sonic game was Sonic Heroes, which nowadays I hear is like, it's kind of based on the Sonic Adventure formula. But Sonic Heroes was my first Sonic game, and I really enjoyed that as a kid. And when I went back to play it at one point, and honestly, I still enjoyed playing it, but that could be nostalgia goggles being put on my face. So nostalgia is a dangerous thing, because I'm probably going to enjoy Sonic Heroes no matter how old I get. But for someone who just, doesn't have those nostalgia goggles, I'm sure they'll see a lot more jankiness with that game. But, Sonic Generations was probably my favorite Sonic game. Like, I didn't mind the boost formula that was used in the game, and really it's just, I've always just liked running fast in Sonic games. Later on, I also ended up playing the 2D Sonic games. Sonic Mania is probably like the first 2D Sonic game that I actually played from beginning to end. And then Sonic Advance 3, I remember playing that as a kid. One of my friends had that game for the Game Boy Advance, and a few times I actually got to play it. And I remember really liking the 2D Sonic games as a kid. But I could count on my hand how many times I got a chance to actually play on my friend's Game Boy. Eventually, I ended up playing through most of Sonic Advance 3 on a Game Boy emulator. And that felt pretty, that game actually felt pretty solid. The 2D Sonic games actually seem to be pretty enjoyable. But if we're talking just 3D Sonic games, I would say Sonic Heroes is on my list of games of 3D Sonic games that I enjoyed. Sonic Generations. Sonic Colors, I don't think I ever actually ended up finishing that game. But that game had some interesting ideas going on as well. And then I've kind of avoided a few of the other Sonic games. Like, I remember playing, like, I know a lot of people complain about Sonic Unleashed as far as, like, the Werehog goes, where it had this clunky Werehog that would just go around smashing things, and that's not what Sonic games are about. But I remember playing the demo. There was a demo for, like, the Xbox 360 for that game, and I used to play the demo of the first level, like, all the time. And I don't think I've ever really had a problem with the boost formula games. Aside from, like, Sonic 06. Sonic 06, I remember seeing the trailer for it, and it made me really want an Xbox 360 at the time. Like, my family still had the original Xbox. The 360 was, like, a new console. A relatively new console, and Sonic 06 was announced. I was like, man, I really want this game. I really want that console. Well, I think about like 7 years later, I saw like Sonic 06 in like a discount bin. And I was like, you know what? I really wanted to play this when I was younger. We're gonna buy this and we're gonna go home and play it. So I popped it into my Xbox 360. And I was, like, severely disappointed. Like, just, like, one of the things that really drew me out of the experience was just how buggy the game was. But also, you had to, like, it's, like, takes a lot of effort to actually get into playing the levels. It's, like, you have to do, I think, like, before you can even play the first level, you have to, like, do some, you're forced to go to a shop to equip something, and then you're forced to do like a ring challenge in this hub world, and then you finally complete the first level, but then you realize you can't even finish the first level properly because you die so many times just because game's so clunky. Yeah, no, this feels really good though. So, I'm just trying to think of what the caveats would be if Sonic Team made a Sonic game that was based on like this, the format of this fan game here. Like, I know like you want to have kind of a linear path to kind of feed along the story, but I don't know, does anybody really play Sonic games for the story? Like, I can't remember a Sonic game that actually had a decent enough storyline to it. Like, usually they're just pretty mediocre stories with gameplay that's good enough to kill time. Like, I'm just having fun running around in this small open area. So I guess some facts. This game is made in Unreal Development Kit, so not Unreal Engine. Or, I guess, I don't know. As far as I know, Unreal Development Kit is Unreal Engine, but this is not Unreal Engine 4. This is an older engine that was made by Unreal. Like, this looks like an authentic Sonic game. Although, if you tell me that Sega made this, maybe I wouldn't believe you, because usually they drop the ball on most of their projects. Like, they don't seem to know what the heck to do with 3D Sonic. Yeah, so I'm quite literally just running around. Like, it's amazing how satisfying it is just to run around and be fast. There's no end objective, but I'm just compelled to keep running around and jumping and running around some more. Like, heck, if you slap a story onto this, that's just icing on the cake. This gameplay and this world is just... Like, I've looked at the same scenery a million times by now. I mean, I'm using hyperbole, but like... But this is just... This is just so satisfying. I'm trying to think of things to nitpick on, because... Like... This is just... Okay, you know what? So, let's get our nitpicks out. The stash effect is kind of underwhelming. Like, I think we're using like some kind of trail renderer here, but it needs to be smoothed out. Maybe when we're running at Mach speed, add some like shimmering to like the edges of the screen. I'm not sure if I'm using the right wording there, but you know, like some air effects, or like or add like a vignette to the edges of the screen. Just something to make going fast feel a little faster. Maybe increase the FOV ever so slightly when you like hit Mach speed. Just to make running feel that much more satisfying. Like, this already feels satisfying, but I'm just thinking of things to just make it feel even better. But yeah, definitely check this out. There's another Sonic game I might also check out, called Sonic Utopia. I haven't decided if I'm going to make that a separate video or make it part of this one. Okay, let's see what happens if we go into the water. That's cool. So the water, or the audio actually gets altered when you're underwater. Oh, there's a power-up. Oh, that was an extra life. And I'm just getting lost in this. Oh, whoa, that... So we've got some jankiness when it comes to like... Oh! Oh! We found a bug. So... But okay, the game was smart enough to kill us off, though. So that's good. So we didn't just make the game unplayable by just clipping through the level like that. But there, it looks like there's some jankiness when it comes to if you get caught on an edge. Honestly though, like this game gets so much, like this fan game gets so much right that that one bug doesn't really take away from the experience all that much. Now, I'm going to see if I can recreate it. So, we've got some jankiness when it comes to... I think what the camera tries to do is it automatically tries to snap, or snaps to Sonic's orientation. So, basically, when we go here, Sonic tries to level himself out with the wall, and the camera tries to level itself out as well. And it looks like there's some smoothing going on to kind of make that transition a little less janky. And I can't really offer up a solution on how to fix that. Because I don't know if there is a way to make it any better. It's kind of like sometimes you end up running into issues where you sometimes have to just deal with it, because what it ends up accomplishing in the end is just much better in the grand scheme of things. It's like this is I think my basic point is like some design decisions have like a pro and con type of thing going on, and sometimes the pros outweigh the cons. Okay, we got a huge frame drop there. To be fair though, we got like a complete view of the entire world. Now I'm not sure if this game uses LODs. If you don't know what an LOD is, basically stuff that's further away should be rendered at a lower quality. The basic idea being that the further away something is, the less detail your eyes will be able to see, and therefore developers can get away with making things in the distance much lower quality. And then when you get closer, the low quality assets will be replaced with the higher quality assets. And that's usually done to reduce the amount of hardware that's being used, because you don't want to use resources that don't need to be used. By using as few resources as possible, you leave processing power to be focused onto other things, or just improve performance in general. Another thing that a person can do to improve performance is to use something... Okay, I think LODs are being used. Yeah, because if I move around, you'll see that if you look directly in front of me, don't look at Sonic, but look at stuff in the distance. If I start getting closer, you actually see sudden changes in the environment. So we are having LODs being used here. So if they're already using LODs, I also have faith that they're probably using occlusion culling as well. And occlusion culling is basically where anything that's not on screen gets turned invisible, because it's not in camera, it's not being seen, so why have the graphics card try to render it? You only ever want to render what's in front of you. And I have faith that that's what's being done here as well. But yeah, this just... This is just a nice experience. So yeah, I think I'll leave this video at that. If anything, my only gripe with this game is there's a potential for there to be, in like some scenarios, the camera can be a little janky. But that's usually to do with the transitions between different planes. Like if I transition from walking on the ground to a wall, the camera kind of has to move in line with Sonic. And again, I don't know if there's even a way to fix that. Like, I'm willing to deal with that bug. My second nitpick is just these trails aren't very, like, they look kind of rough. Third nitpick, add like a slight FOV change or some vignetting, or maybe both those effects, or a blur effect around the edges, just to make running fast feel even better. Like, running fast already feels good in this, but again, just you could add a few effects just to make things feel even better. And then I think there's that one bug I had happen where I was able to clip myself into the floor. But really, aside from all that stuff, this is pretty solid. This is pretty well put together. So yeah, if you guys like this video, feel free to like it. And if you want to keep up with my future content, feel free to subscribe. And click the bell notification icon. So if you have any ideas of other games, maybe fan games or indie games that maybe you've made or someone else has made, that you want me to check out and do quality assurance on, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Basically the main idea is I want to help game developers, my fellow game developers, improve and tell them ways on how to improve. For this game in particular, there's not much that I would say needs to be improved. Just slap a story onto this, maybe find some like objectives. I know we can collect coins and power-ups and all that stuff. And I know this is basically just basically a tech demo for this type of like play style. But I think this could be made into a full game. Like, there would be some design stuff that would have to be figured out. But honestly, this open world style kind of thing I'm all for. So I'm thinking I might check out Sonic Utopia next. That's another take on a similar concept, where you've got a free roaming Sonic. So yeah, I'll see you guys next video.